After nearly decades of ruling the tennis courts with her powerful serve and unmatched grace, Venus Williams is now celebrating something far more personal, a triumph of the heart. The 45-year-old legend recently announced she's engaged to Italian actor and filmmaker Andrea Preti, and the reveal came just moments after she clinched a hard-fought win at the City Open in Washington, D.C. It was during her post-match interview initially focused on her comeback to professional tennis that Venus surprised everyone with the news of her engagement. The interview quickly took a more heartfelt turn when she casually mentioned her soon-to-be husband, confirming what some eagle-eyed fans had suspected for months. Earlier this year, Venus had been spotted wearing a dazzling diamond ring during a training session in Italy, sparking rumors that something special was in the works. The whispers only grew louder when the couple was seen vacationing along the scenic Amalfi Coast last summer, seemingly lost in their own Italian fairy tale. Andrea Preti, who's 37, began his career as a model, but gradually transitioned into acting, carving out a name for himself in Italian television and film. Trained in acting in New York City, he's also tried his hand behind the camera as a filmmaker. Although he tends to stay out of the spotlight, he's been a quiet and constant presence in Venus' life over the past year, cheering from the sidelines, offering support when she struggled, and standing by her as she worked to get back into top form after stepping away from the game. Her recent victory at the City Open marked a significant milestone. It was her first solo win in almost 2 years, and a reminder that she still has that fierce competitive edge. At 45, she's now one of the oldest women in the sport to pull off a win of this magnitude, adding yet another remarkable chapter to her already storied career. What's especially moving about this moment in Venus' life is how much it represents a shift. For years, she was candid about not feeling the need to get married. She built a life on her own terms, made decisions at her own pace, and proudly paved her own path. "I've always done things on my own time," she once said, and this latest decision is no different, true to form. She didn't make a grand announcement or post an extravagant video. She simply let the news slide naturally into conversation, as though she were sharing a quiet joy rather than delivering a headline. It's a soft-spoken reveal, but one that carries deep meaning. Venus has always defined success in more than just trophies and titles. And now, with renewed energy on the court and a loving partner beside her, she's showing the world a different kind of strength, one rooted in personal growth, emotional balance, and the courage to embrace change. The timing of her engagement seems almost poetic, just as she proves she still has what it takes to compete against younger rivals on the court. She also shows that life off the court can be just as fulfilling. There's a kind of poetic justice in the way she's now balancing her passion for tennis with a blossoming love story that's been quietly unfolding behind the scenes. For fans who followed Venus through every high and low, this moment feels like a reward, watching her reclaim her form, find joy in her sport again, and open her heart to something she once said wasn't for her. It's a side of Venus we rarely see, but one that makes her journey even more relatable and inspiring. And this isn't just about Venus falling in love. It's about the evolution of a woman who's always stood tall in her truth, now daring to explore new territories emotionally and personally. With her signature poise and humility, she's inviting us into this next chapter not with fanfare, but with authenticity. Andrea's role in her life appears to be one of grounding and support. While she's the global icon, the spotlight chaser, and the record breaker, he's the one behind the curtain, steady, present, and quietly encouraging. In an era where celebrity relationships often play out loudly and publicly, theirs feels refreshingly understated. They've built something genuine, away from flashing cameras, and that privacy has only added to the strength of their bond. Seeing Venus return to competitive form while navigating a new romantic chapter is a reminder that reinvention doesn't have a deadline. Whether it's picking up a tennis racket again or saying yes to love at 45, Venus is proving that you can still chase dreams, discover new joys, and surprise yourself long after others have counted you out. What makes this moment even more significant is that it's not happening in the shadow of her past glories, it's unfolding in real time on her terms. There's no nostalgia tour here. Venus isn't clinging to the past. She's rewriting her present and setting the stage for what comes next. As we look at her journey, how she's faced injuries, setbacks, and relentless pressure, yet kept her head held high, it's impossible not to feel a sense of admiration. Her resilience on the court mirrors the resilience she's shown in life. And now, this engagement feels like a personal win that's been years in the making. It's also worth noting that this new chapter doesn't mark the end of her tennis career, it's a continuation. Venus has made it clear that she's still hungry, still eager to test her limits, and still passionate about the game. The City Open win isn't just a fluke, it's a statement. She's back, and she's still got something to say. Whether or not she adds more trophies to her collection, Venus is already winning in ways that go far beyond rankings or stats. Her journey is becoming less about the scoreboard and more about the story. And what a story it's turning out to be. Her engagement is a celebration not just of romance, but of a woman who dared to defy timelines, expectations, and even her own assumptions about what life should look like. It's a moment of transformation, not reinvention, a reminder that we're all allowed to change our minds, open new doors, and write new endings. As she looks toward her future both professionally and personally, Venus seems more grounded than ever. And for those who've watched her rise, fall, and rise again, this new version of her might just be the most powerful one yet. From the fierce teenage prodigy who stormed onto the scene, to the trailblazing champion who demanded equal pay, to the woman now embracing love on her own terms, Venus Williams is still very much writing her legend. And if there's one thing we've learned about Venus, it's this: never count her out. Whether she's holding a tennis racket or a bouquet, she's always going to do things her way with elegance, strength, and a heart full of purpose. Her story also challenges long-standing ideas about aging in sports and life. At 45, most professional athletes have long since retired, and many are viewed through the lens of nostalgia rather than relevance. But Venus refuses to be boxed in by age or expectation. Her City Open victory didn't justify the odds, it redefined them. She's not just hanging on, she's thriving, evolving, and showing younger generations that the second act of life can be just as thrilling, if not more so, than the first. What makes her even more admirable is the calm, measured way she approaches all of this. There's no desperate chase for headlines, no need for public validation. Instead, she moves with quiet confidence, doing the work, staying true to herself, and letting her actions speak louder than words. That authenticity has always been one of her greatest strengths, and it continues to shine now as she balances the intense world of professional competition with the more intimate journey of love and partnership. It's also a beautiful reminder that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. Opening up to someone, especially after decades of fierce independence, requires courage. Venus has always been fiercely self-reliant, someone who built a career on grit and self-determination. But in Andrea, she's found someone she can share the load with, someone who respects her journey and adds value without trying to change her. That kind of partnership is rare, and it's worth celebrating. Fans are already wondering, what's next? Will there be a wedding in Italy? Will she take time off from tennis to plan it? Or will Venus continue to compete, wedding ring and all, still serving aces and making headlines in her own understated way? Whatever she decides, one thing is clear: she's in full control of her narrative, just as she's always been. And that control, that freedom to choose without apology, is one of the many reasons people continue to admire her. Even now, she remains a source of inspiration far beyond the tennis court. Young athletes look up to her not only for her achievements but for her character. Women admire her independence, her resolve, and now, her openness to love. And for anyone feeling stuck in a life defined by old routines or fears of starting over, Venus offers a living example of how to embrace change with grace and purpose. In the end, this chapter in Venus Williams' life isn't just about an engagement, it's about possibility. It's about the belief that you're never too old, never too established, never too set in your ways to grow, to fall in love, to dream again. Whether she's wearing tennis whites or a wedding gown, Venus continues to show us what's possible when you stay true to who you are, and when you're willing to open your heart to what comes next.